Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you my screen. I'm connect my iPad first. iPad connected. Give me like 5 minutes to 2 minutes to prepare for this. Connect iPad. Share. iPhone via AirPlay. Share. Okay, so share here. Oops. Give me a second. So most of you guys gonna go the FRQ. So we're gonna talk about certain thing, pay attention to it, and I'm gonna and I do sincerely, hopefully everybody get a 5. So I, you know, any of my student inside school, outside of school, I do want you guys to do well. So I kind of prepare a couple of things, not a slide, but just kind of a bullet point of things that you should pay attention to. And I want to give you like a reminder of that. It will probably help you a lot. So far as that. So are we just waiting for a couple more people to join us? Maybe we're waiting until 1:10. We can start 1:10. Put this on the bottom. Let me see that. And I'm gonna turn on the calculator. Okay, so I'm also gonna put. Okay, I'm ready in a second. I promise you. There are more people joining. Okay, so the limit all. Okay. So this thing is gonna be stream on Twitch as well, or YouTube. That way you guys can see my whole screen instead of see the thing, because the calculator section you kind of have to see it through YouTube or Twitch. And Twitch you can send the chat, so I can see you. So that's probably the best way to do this. So I'm gonna put down here. So ch.tv/223, and if you don't like use Twitch, you can use youtube.com/djyuf. Either one, but it's just I'm not gonna read the YouTube's chat. I'll read the chat through YouTube, through Twitch.
Wait, so is it gonna be on Zoom or Twitch? Sorry, I didn't get that.
No, Zoom you can just straight ask me question, but some people don't like to ask me question online. So I also on Twitch, so you can see people's questions over there, and maybe some people can answer the question for me too, if because that's sometimes very helpful. Yesterday we did have like somebody join us, and like people in California. I don't know, it's my student or people in California. I don't know, if it's true or not. But you can join on Twitch if you just want to ask. You want to ask through chat, which is fine.
Also, can you let me in again to the waiting room, because I switched from my phone to my laptop?
Yeah, sure. Stop. There are still people continues join, so I'm gonna let them in. Feed yeah. Okay, I just want a testing on Twitch. And Twitch, Twitch or YouTube, you can see my calculator because the way I screen record calculator, but you only see my iPad screen. So only on Twitch, on YouTube, they can see the calculator part because they screen record the whole whole screen. So that way you have more access to see how do I do it on calculator, and yeah, it just makes easier. But so that way I see. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. So I don't think any more people is joining in, but this is recorded on YouTube as well. I do believe YouTube is live streaming. I don't know. I'm double check right now. Oh, yep. YouTube is on it. So okay. So that's good. All right. So I prepared something for you. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll try to make it bigger. But here is the FRQ that you should pay attention to and might apply to MCQ as well. So there we go. Okay. So can you guys see, or I need to make it bigger?
I can see it fine.
Let me see if I make it bigger. How do I do that? View. How do I make it bigger? I don't know how to use things. You know what? I'll just make a font bigger. So this is a part I think is probably better on Twitch or on YouTube because right now, wait, what do you see? What do you guys see? On Zoom, you guys see my iPad screen, right?
Yeah, we see that, but there's nothing like written on the screen. It's just like blank.
Yeah, but on YouTube, I actually have a file that it's already.
Yeah, on YouTube you can see it.
On YouTube or Twitch, is all can see it. So I'm gonna make it bigger so that way you can see. That's too big. Is that too big, Jasmine? I think that's fine, right? Is that?
I kind of have it like on split screen, but I think I can see it from here. Yeah.
You can see what I write down, right?
Yeah, it's just a little small, but it's okay. I can't see at all what you wrote.
It's on Twitch. Just go be on Twitch.
Since I joined from my laptop, like the chat, the link isn't on the chat anymore for me because
it's twitch.tv SINGU023. And YouTube is DJYUF.
Can you guys paste that? Or somebody?
Okay, so basically for FRQ, I'm just going to start. FRQ, you should prepare calculator preparation. We talked about this, especially people who have physics or whatever. You should pay attention, change the mode to radians. I think Daniel, you have physics. I think Shafa, I think certain individual in this room that have physics, Taha or Noob, but they all know, like everybody is pretty much know what's going on. That you have setting, you have changed the mode to radians. You can reset the calculator. For me, I probably reset the whole calculator, which is second plus 712. Let me write down second plus 712. I can reset the calculator. Knowing how to change your domain and change the table setting. Change your table setting, I'll change to independent ask, and just because I think that's much more independent. Independent. How to spell independent? Okay, set to independent ask. So that's just the things I will pay attention to. Before FRQ, I will annotate a lot of things. Always annotate like initial conditions. Make sure recognize initial conditions. Domain, right? Domain is if it's 2 to 7, you don't want to graph from 9 to 10 to 10. So those are things that you should pay attention to. Pay attention to units, which is a feet per hour square. So if you take another derivative, it should be feet per hour square. All the answers should be in 3 decimal place. You can write down more than 3, but they only look at 3. They look at the first 3. They not really pay attention on rounding, but just don't do a crappy job on rounding. It's not that bad. Again, number line test is not a justification. I'm gonna mention that more and more often than not. Is number line does not mean justification. Table is justification. You're more welcome to take a picture of this. This is kind of some things I prepare for you guys. So those are the things that you should pay attention to. And if you guys are good right now, you guys you guys need to understand that those are the things I should pay attention to. And do not, okay, I will say this. Don't graph the integral. Okay. Don't graph the integral by setting like y1 is equal to integral, like y equal to integral. That's gonna slow down your calculator and just gonna make your calculator go crazy. You can do the calculator in the you can do the integral on the graphing part, but not the y equal to. You don't do y equal to and graphing from what point to what point. That's a silly. So don't ever do that. So that's the things that you should pay attention to. That's why a lot of time that you guys are complaining the calculator take forever. Honestly, you can pass this AP exam with the TI-83, and TI-83 is super slow, and it's the time when I was at high school. I using TI-83, and like I have 3 students got a 5 last year with the TI-83, so it's no problem. So it's your calculator not supposed to be too slow. Only if you do like things like you do graphing integrals, and that's what the problem. You said y1 equal to integral. So for example, you said like this. If you can see my screen, my Twitch screen or my YouTube screen, if you set it here and you do integral sign here, and you try to do, I seen people trying to do this, and this is something that you should not do, because that's gonna take all the calculation away, and it's gonna take forever to do. Now on this version, you should be able to. It still can come up valued, but just way too slow. If you don't do integral, do it from here. So do second calc here, and you can do integral from what value to what value, and you can do that, and that's much better. Okay. Yep.
What do you mean by table as justification?
Yeah, so that's a good question, right? Table is the justification. So you cannot just do a number line test. We'll talk about the table justification. So I'll give you an example. I'll show you. For example, if I want to try to find the absolute maximum and absolute minimum, and absolute maximum, absolute minimum, you should pay attention to critical values, and you should pay attention to endpoints. So what you're going to do is you're going to plug in the endpoint into the original equation and plug in the critical value into original equations and try to evaluate something and build a table. And that will be a justification for the absolute maximum minimum. Again, so if I say I want you to find the relative minimum, right? And then you say, okay, well, I'm just going to do a number line test. I see plus minus plus, and I say x equal to 2. That's my absolute minimum. Then that's not justification. You have to say justification says the f prime of x changing from negative to positive, and that therefore there's a minimum at x equal to 2. Does that make sense? So that number line itself is not a justification. The explanation of the f prime of x changing from negative to positive, that is a justification. And table is justification for absolute maximum minimum. So let me do that here. So absolute max and min, and that is for the justification for absolute max and min, because you have the including the endpoint. So let me say including endpoints evaluation as well as critical point evaluation. How to spell evaluation? EVA. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I'm still not sure like exactly how to make a table, but
oh yeah, table. If you look at a scoring guideline, there's a lot of table. When there was table, just we'll show you in a second.
Okay, thanks.
Any other question before we move on? Talk about those specific topics. Anybody allowed to ask questions, so you're more welcome to ask. Okay. The biggest thing in AP calculus, rather on FRQ or MCQ, the biggest thing is fundamental theorem calculus. So there are two parts, right? There are part 1 and part 2. So part 1 just says integral of, between what value to what value. And that's something that you should pay attention to. And also analyze f prime of x, f double prime of x. So those are things that you should pay attention to. F of x, f double prime of x, and when are they increasing, decreasing, concave up and down. So those are things you should pay attention to. So we can talk about a question like that, and we can give you a try. Differential equation. So differential equation, the format usually is pretty standard unless they give you like the potato questions or the bear question in 2012. It's pretty standard. They will ask you equation tangent line. You just plug it. They will give you the derivative. You just plug in the x and y to find out the slope. And they also usually give you initial condition. Initial condition, you can just plug in the initial condition to tangent line, and you can do approximation. Usually they will follow the format with a maybe slope field. So look for the zero slope. So look for zero slope first, right? So look for zero slope first, always. So whatever dy dx is equal to 0, that's you're gonna mark in all the point, and rest of the point just kind of estimate, not estimate, you're still going to find out the value, but your line longest make sure it's increasing, it's going up or going down. That's all they need to do. Differential equation with initial condition usually was 5 to 6 points. So 5 to 6 points is important, and also there's probably 2 points in MCQ. So differential equation is very, very important. So if something you need to know that for sure in a short time, 5 to 6 points is very, very needed. Over approximation and under approximation with tangent line by looking at the concavity. This is important. This is looking at, the person, look at, we talk about in the class, we talk about Karate Kid. If it's concave down, tangent line is going to be over approximate. If it's concave up, the tangent line is going to be under approximations. So sometimes they just will ask you that, and you just have the second derivative is greater than 0. Therefore, your tangent line approximation is under approximations. Any question about this part? Am I going too fast? Okay. And we're going to give an example for you guys to try. Motions. Motion, you got position, velocity, acceleration, or SVA. That's why I always tell students is SVA. Take a derivative of velocity, take a derivative of acceleration, or integration of acceleration is going to give you velocity. Integration of velocity is going to give you positions. Speed increase versus speed decreasing. That's the same thing as saying slowing down, speeding up. You look at it for the sign, right? Sign of how to spell sign, S-I-G-N, of sign of velocity of t and the acceleration of t. Basically, you look at if they are the same sign is increasing, different sign is decreasing. And the best way to do this is actually, usually they'll give you a calculator and you can do both at the same time, by plugging y1 and y2 as acceleration as y2 and velocity is y1. And when you do table, they will evaluate both at the same time. It will save you a lot of time. So we can talk about that. Particle at rest. Yesterday we did a multiple question. People didn't understand what does rest mean. Rest just means what? What does rest mean? Let's say find out when is particle at rest. What are you supposed to do?
Initial velocity is 0.
Not initial velocity equals 0, but just velocity in general is 0. So v of t is equal to 0. Okay, so those are the things that you should pay attention to. So just take a derivative, or if they already give a derivative, set it equal to 0, which is look for x-intercepts if it's a graphing calculator questions. Average velocity, I mentioned it's two ways to find average velocity. Does anybody know what are the two ways? If velocity is given, how do you find the average velocity? Anyone else?
Hang on, can you repeat the question?
Okay. Okay, so if I were to ask you to find the average velocity, now I want to give you a velocity equation. How do I find the average velocity?
Oh, velocity equation?
Yeah, if I give you velocity equation.
Oh, is the average velocity the one where it's like, oh no, it's not that. I thought, no, it was like the 1 minus b minus 1 over b minus a integral, but no, I don't think it's...
Yeah, that's right, that's right. So there are two types, right? So depend on if it's a position is given. If position is given, then just s of b minus s of a over b minus a. Now, if the velocity is given, then it's 1 over b minus a integral of v of t dt. So those are things that you should know for multiple choice as well as FRQ. Okay, when we get to this point, we'll write it down. We're just gonna give you an overview of what we want to talk about today.
Are you gonna give like examples of FRQs with each of these things, or like?
Yeah, they usually have this thing. Either it's on multiple choice or FRQ. They could have both. So average velocity, if it's position given, it was the s of t given, then it would be s of v over s of a over b minus a, which is changing a displacement over changing time. And if a velocity is given, you can really do v of b minus v of a over b minus a, because that's actually the average accelerations. So in order to get from v to s, you have to do integral of v of t between a to b, and then you have to multiply 1 over b minus a in the front. Okay. E, which is total distance versus total displacement. Those are the things that you should understand. What's the difference? Anybody can tell me the difference between how do I evaluate total distance and how do I evaluate total displacement? Josephine, I'm going to ask you on this.
Yeah, I knew you were going to. For displacement, I know that displacement can be, negative, because it's just the how far you've moved, including moving back from the original position you are.
Mm-hmm.
While I think distance is just how far you are from the starting point. It doesn't count like anytime you moved backwards or anything like that in between.
Okay, but do you including with initial condition or without?
For which one?
Let's start with total distance.
Total distance, I think you include the initial condition, but displacement you don't, because no, your face says no. So total, it's the other way around then.
Actually, you're both wrong.
You don't include it at all?
You don't include it at all.
Okay, fair.
Because you just want to find out how the distance is changing between two times, right? So then it doesn't matter. So you should be without. without initial conditions, but for both cases. We're going to talk about when so without, please make sure it understands without, not with initial condition. You do not need an initial condition to find out total distance travel. You do not find out you do not need to use initial condition with total displacement, because total displacement just, I want you to know at 1 second I'm at this position, right? I'm at 2, and at 2 seconds I'm at 5, so the total displacement is still 3. It does not need the including initial condition on both cases. Josephine, do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So now when do you use so let's just say without initial condition, so that we don't get you confused. So without initial condition, let me write it down here. And the furthest right and furthest left. Now this one, you need the initial conditions. And also you need a justification with table as well. So they are same. So a lot of time that you gotta see the connection between calculus. The connection between calculus is when I ask you furthest right or furthest left, they are actually just same thing as ask you absolute max and absolute min. Furthest right is absolute max. Furthest left is absolute min. You have to test endpoints. You have to test critical points. So that's why you need to do a table. So a lot of overlap questions. That's why a lot of students doesn't spend a lot of time studying, is because they see the overlap. They see the thing is connected to each other instead of just memorize everything, because so many things to memorize for the test, and you got 3 other AP class and 3 other IB exam you have to take. There's just not enough memory. Now, a smarter student approach is to look at what is the similarity between two ideas, and without overwhelming themselves. And that's what a quick student can do efficiently. Net rate, in rate minus out rate. The way I kind of think about rate is like a velocity. So I try to group all of them together. Hopefully that doesn't cause confusion. So net rate, I just think about as a velocity. Integration of the rate is going to give you the amount. Just like integration of the speed I'm driving, then that's going to be the amount of distance I drive. So that's the things that you should pay attention to. So net rate, in rate minus out rate is just like velocity, except there's in and out in this case. Integration of rate is the amount. Okay, so integration of the rate is the amount. Like integration of velocity with the bound is displacement. And don't worry about the grammar. The grammar is really bad, so you guys should know by now. When to including initial condition, right? So if you want to say the final amount of material at the end, then you have to including initial condition in this case, that's like same thing as asking, what's the distance away from origin at a t equal to 5, right? If we know t equal to 5 is your final thing. So that one you have to include initial condition, right? So you got to think about when to include and when to not include it, and really understand it, because when you understand it, you will not lose it. How does it reach maximum minimum? You basically compare the net rate. When the net rate approaches 0, depending on how they approach 0, they approach it from the negative side or positive side. Justification with a table or maximum and the minimum, those that we talk about over again. Area and volumes. So the area between the curve, make sure you find the intersection, whether using calculator or without it, right? Integration top minus bottom. The disk and washer versus cross section. This one must including pi. So must including pi, right? Cross section no pi, make sure, but you have to know understand all the coefficients. Understand the coefficients. For example, for semicircle is pi over 8. For equilateral triangle is square root 3 over 4. for isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle has two kinds, by the way. One of them base is at the lake or base on hypotenuse. Base on hypotenuse is a little bit harder, but I only see the last 20 years only happened once. Okay, area of volume with the case. So you have to understand that. Right end, Riemann sum, left end, midpoint. Midpoint, usually they will give you an equal interval, just like yesterday with the multiple choice. There was equal interval. Okay, there's equal interval. Trapezoid, I obviously spelled wrong. So, trapezoid rule. So those are the things that we're going to talk about today. So we can start by look at the questions. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a 2019 FRQ. And I want you guys to try it first, and we can talk about ideas and stuff like that. And sometimes they be including the initial condition with this one, but this one doesn't have a initial condition, so we're gonna see it. Let me see if we can find it. 2019. And if you're in my class, it should be already released to you guys. You should be able to find it. So let me hold on. Let me put it in the file first. Desktop. 2019 FRQ. Copy. Put it on the here. Oops. How do I paste it? I can paste. So desktop. Sorry, I should have this prepared. Give me a second. I'll just drag it. FRQ. I'm gonna drag it here. So I can open it here. So I'm gonna share my iPad screen. Do you guys see my iPad or no? Oh,
Yeah, you can see it.
Hold on. You cannot see it.
I don't think you can see it on Twitch, but you can see it on the Zoom call.
Okay. Now you should be able to see both. So this is a perfect question from fundamental theorem calculus. So this is a 2018. And they say find G of 0 and G of 4. So this is a brand new question you never seen before. Because this is a 2019, this is the one I email you. Oh, I sent it to AP Classroom. So let's read them together. The continuous function f between -4 to 4, the graph consists of two line segment portion, three different parabolas. The graph has horizontal tangent at -half, +half, and 5/2. It's known that negative x squared minus 5x minus 5 between 1 and 4. The area region A and B bounded on x-axis is 3 and 5, respectively. Let g be the function defined g of x between negative 4 to x. And you want to find now g of 0 and g of 4. I'll let you get a head start. G of 4 require a little bit of work. If you're done, you let me know you're done. You done or not done? And we can talk about a strategy. Okay. Let's talk about strategy. This question worth 4 points. If it's me, I will not try to get all 4 points. I'll get first 3. And let's talk about where does it give you 3 points. Should I go over it or should I wait for you another minute?
Go over it, probably.
Go over, okay. So I will do g of 0. Why do I do 0, 0? Then that's going to give you negative 4 to 0 of f of t.
What exactly are you doing? I can't see what you do.
Anybody else have trouble seeing what?
Like what are you doing? Like on the graph or something? Graphing calculator or something? Like what are you writing on?
You should be able to see it on the screen, on Zoom screen, on Twitch screen. You should be able to see it.
I can see it just fine.
Yeah, so I'm not crazy, right? So then that's just gonna be area here, which is 4 times 3. So it'll be 4 times 3 over 2 plus the a right here, but they told you the a is 3. And so it's negative 3 because of below x-axis. You had to pay attention to that. 4 times. Hold on a second, let me make sure. It's 4. This is 3. I'm an idiot. I can't count. So 3 times 3. So it'll be 9 over 2 minus 3. So that's equal to 3 over 2. So that's going to give you 1 point.
I don't get what you did.
I just do integral from negative 4 to x. So because this is a graph of f.
Yeah,
So if they want to find out g of 0, so that means I'm going to plug in 0 for here, 0
but
here.
I didn't know what did up.
What? What'd you say?
Oh, because you have to take the integral first and then you plug in the numbers, right?
No, when I take an integral, I have nothing to do plug in a number. I'm finding area under the curve. Which is I here is 3, and I here is 3. I here is 3. So 3 times 3 divided by 2 is triangle, and plus negative 3 because of below x-axis. Are we okay here? Everybody should get that point. The point is very easy, straightforward. Now, when I talk about g of 4, strategy-wise, I will not go to calculate out because I think that's waste a lot of time, and I don't really want to get stuck in this question forever. So at first, I know from negative 4 to 4, is gonna give you the breakdown of from negative 4 to 0 of f of t, because that's what we found earlier, plus integration from 0 to 1 of ft, plus integration from 1 to 4 of ft dt. I break up to 3 separate parts. This is 3 over 2, we already found. From 0 to 1, you already get 5. So that's 5. And plus integration of 1 over 4.
Mr. A, can you let Fida in, please?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
And then that is going to give you a x squared, right? Minus 1 plus 5x minus 4. Now, if you're not good with arithmetic, don't get involved too much. So here I will get I will get a 6.5, I believe, right? 6.5 plus integration of that has been negative x cubed over 3 plus 5x squared minus 4x between 4 and 1, and 6.5 plus, now I'll just plug in 4 in here, so it'll be negative 1 over 3 times 4 to the third plus 5 times 4 to the square minus 4 to the fourth, and then minus bracket of 1, so it'll be negative 1 over 3 plus 5 minus 4. And this is over 2. Sorry, I forgot over 2. 4 over 2 minus 4. And then I will leave it alone. Why? Because of the last point, if you write out like this, they might even give you the point and you not waste a lot of time on arithmetic. So I will stop right here at this moment, because, and then if I have time, I'll come back to do it, because I will not have enough time. This is only the first part. It already take me a lot of time to think through, and I don't want to waste too much time on calculation. I will stop right here and I'll finish all of the part and come back to it. But if you did it right, you should get 11. But again, I won't waste time to think about those. Does that make sense? Because all the way here, you're going to get 3 out of 4. Just stop right here. Okay, and this only worth 1 point. That's a lot of arithmetic to get 1 point. I mean, not saying that you should do it. If you're good, you do it. If you're not good, you don't do it. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so of course, you can always come back time to do it. If you have extra time to earn that 1 extra point, you say you might need, I still need a point, I will come back and do it. So those are the strategies you can put in place in order to get maximum effort. So in calculus, we study optimization. We're trying to optimize the time. We're not trying to waste time on 1 point. This is not necessary. Now, if you're good at arithmetic, be my guest, right? But you could possibly waste 3 minutes here and you still didn't get that 1 point. And it costs another time. It costs another thing that wastes too much time, and things about like that. So any question about that part? Okay, so let's go to the next part. They say find the absolute minimum of G. Okay, so between -4 to 4. So do we have an initial condition here? Probably not, right? Yeah, we didn't have an initial condition. So we start with -4 and become more positive. So -1 will not be the choice. And you're gonna go negative. Okay, so yeah. So this is the part that I say that you need to do table. I'm looking at scoring guideline now. They didn't really do table here, but they do something very similar to table. So both are acceptable. So you have to think about what is acceptable here. So so if you want to find G, right? G is the integration between f went from -4 to whatever. So here we're gonna go from here to here. Then you say, okay, well, that's gonna go up the value because that's above the x-axis. So if you start at 0, if it didn't give you initial condition, that we know it. Let me see, do they say that? It consists of 2 lines of a segment that has horizontal tension -1/2, 1/2 x equal 5/2 is known that -5/2. The area A and B bounded by f is -3, g function -4. So it didn't tell you that, but you can plug in g of -4. That's equal to 0 because there's no area underneath. So we should stress that g of -4 is equal to -4 to -4 of ft. That's equal dt. That's equal to 0. Right? Now, as I'm going down from here to here, the value is going to increase because of the area above the curve. And then this part is the one that's going to go down. So I'm going to use 8, maybe red. So from here to here, it's going to go down. Like from here to here, it's going to go down. And after that, it's all going up. So the only possible choice is 0. I used colored pencil to tell you when's the part going up, part going down. So then you're gonna say, okay, well, g of 0, we find out, we know what a g of 0 is. G of 0 is equal to -3/2, but positive 3/2. So in this case, which one's lower value? So technically, you can say this is the table I'm talking about to answer your question. G of x, and that's going to be -4 is 0, and 0 is 3/2. And that's enough of justification. And so they want to ask absolute minimum value. So depends on if they ask you value. They ask minimum value. So minimum value is going to be 0. So g of -4 is equal to 0 is your absolute minimum value. So this is a table I was talking about, Daniel. Did that make sense, Daniel?
So you just put the critical values on the table?
Yeah, I put a critical value and endpoint, right? But in this case, they say absolute minimum value. So therefore, the only critical point matter is this one. Because all other one, they all critical point, but this is relative max. And this is not even a maximum. It's just like a stationary point. And this is endpoint max. Okay, so absolute max happened here. But absolute min, it happened here because no, absolute minimum happened, sorry. This is relative min, so relative min, but absolute min is happened here. Because you compare absolute min and relative min. And relative min is not as low as the endpoint min, then therefore endpoint min is the absolute min.
Okay, so that's very simple. You just put all the possible minimums on table.
Yeah, including endpoints.
Okay.
Including
gotcha.
endpoints. Does that make sense? Anybody else have problem?
Oh, wait, so does that mean we don't have to test the other endpoint, although we know it's a max?
You can put in the endpoint for the other one, but the endpoint kind of you can say that g prime of x is all non-negative at the rest of the values, so you don't need to including the 4. But if you're including the 4, it does not hurt you at all, and it will be even better comparison. But a true justification should including both endpoints. But in their scoring guideline, they didn't including both. They just say it's non-negative elsewhere. The g prime of x is non-negative elsewhere, so the graph is keep on increasing. The g of x keep on increasing after 0. So there's no point to do positive 4, and that's why they said it. But other than that, you don't need it in this case. But if you have it, it does not hurt you.
But what if you left out like a critical point?
You cannot left out critical point because critical point should be the considerations.
Wait, so what about -1? So we don't have to do -1 then?
-1. Hold on, let me look at the graph.
It's a max.
Yeah, relative -1 is. Oh, okay. So I see what you're saying. So at -1, you say because -1 is the whole graph, the G prime f graph of f prime is still positive at -1 from -4 to -1. Therefore, -1 you don't need to consider. But again, you can put n if you want to. I only, since they ask absolute minimum, I only consider 0. I don't consider -1. So that -1's not needed.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. The last part, find all interval which G is concave down. Well, we know that G double prime of X equal to F prime of X. Right? Concave down is going to be where? Where is going to be concave down? Looking at the graph, which probably concave down. Nobody want to talk today?
Would it be the point in which the slope changes for the graph of f? So it wouldn't be -2 because it's a sharp turn, but it'd be like the others.
Okay, but concave down is a period of time. It's period of x value. It's an interval. And I think they do ask what interval. Yeah, find all interval where G is concave down.
So then it'd be like, I mean, you could do math, I guess, but it'd be like -2 to -1. I mean, no, -2 to like -0.5, and then 0.5 to 1, and then 2.5 to 4.
Yep, that's it. And you can say G prime of X is decreasing. That's your justification. So whatever she says went from here, because I hear is going down, I hear it's going down, right? I hear it's going down, I hear it's going down. So basically all the interval from -2 to -0.5, and from 1/2 to 1, and also 2.5 to 4, and that's it. And you can say G prime justification is going to be G prime of X is decreasing on those intervals, and that's it. You can earn all 8 points, and then you come back to do this one if you have time. But I don't remember what we on the thing says. Sometimes they might give you the point just here. So
would it be a sorry?
Go ahead.
Would it be a closed or an open interval?
It should be an open interval because technically, at this point is neither decreasing or increasing, so it should not including -2. So it should be -2 parenthesis -2 to -1/2 and 1/2 parenthesis to 1 and 5/2 parenthesis to 4. In the scoring guideline, they use -2 less than x less than -1/2, but that's the same notation. You couldn't do interval notations much easier. But you should not including the value because that value is not increasing nor decreasing, so you cannot define that. So there we go. There's a fundamental theorem calculus. And graph and analyze f prime of x, and that's just what we talk about, right? We talk about the format of the thing. So, and they always like this: fundamental theorem calculus, analyze the f of x, f prime of x, f double prime of x. That's it.
I have a question about part B.
You have a question in part B? What's part B? This one?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to speak up louder. Is that okay?
Oh, you can't hear me?
I can barely hear you. Who's this?
Beth.
Hi, Beth.
I'm like, hi. I kind of thought of it as a different way. So like on the graph,
the only part where it goes like from below to above the axis would be at 0, and then I would just find the integral between -4 and 0.
Yeah, but
And
we
like,
already find that value at very beginning. I think we find a value at very first step right here, 3/2. So you don't need to redo it.
oh, okay.
I mean, you can, but it just you'll be waste time.
Yeah, true.
And -4 to -4 is 0, so justification is the table, and that's the table I'm talking about. That's how you earn all 9 points. Questions? Okay, so and like I say, my favorite question for this type of question is from here, right? You have to be able to do this one. This one is really different. This happened in 2017. This one, initial condition, it's at f of -2 is equal to 7. So not in the end, not at 0, not at beginning. So you have to find A and B correctly for fundamental theorem calculus. And A, B, C, D, you can do practice of that. I'll give you, let's say, 6 minutes, see if you can get them all done. You've done this before, and this question is a little bit different than last one because the last one doesn't have initial condition. This one does. You have to be able to accommodate both because the test question could be with initial condition or without initial condition. And I like this one because the initial condition happened at -2 as opposed to -6 or 0 or 5, right? So you gotta find A, B, C, D, easily. I think this is a better one for recent year, for 2017 or 2016. This actually happens. And by the time you should know how to do justification, absolute maximum value and minimum value. See, it happened 2 separate years, and that they are exact same pattern. Right now, we're just learning how to deal with the pattern. But this one with the initial conditions are a little bit different than what you've done before on the last questions. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so this is a question, especially first part, you have to get that first part. That first part is so crucial. It happened on every single test. It happened everywhere. You had to get this part. And really, you only need 6 minutes to go do those questions. You don't need 15 minutes. And you should enough to save a lot of time for this one. 45. Can I go over now? Oh, you still need more time.
Can we have a little more time?
Yep. Shafa, is your computer has a problem?
Yeah, I joined from my laptop instead. I was on my phone earlier.
Oh, I just see you in and out. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I was glitching.
Just so you know, in this type of question, you have to worry about, sometimes they can give you areas instead of give you, like, they can just graph a random curve and just say area, just like the last time. The area is like 5 and 3, right? But below x-axis, when you do integral, it has to be negative. So those are the things that you should pay attention to. But I like this one the best because this one is my favorite one. Because it has an initial condition in there as opposed to before. The last one doesn't have initial conditions. And I think Priya, remember this one we talked about?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, just set up fundamental theorem calculus. And then you're not going to get wrong from there. Because once you set up, everything is going to be formulated. And it just follow directions. That's all you have to do. Are you done, Priya?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can work on other question if you're done. So that way you don't waste time. Which is you could work on FRQ, which was. Fida, can I go over it?
Yeah.
Okay. So integration, because this is f prime, right? Integration of f prime of x between, I would say between they give you an initial condition, so you told you like you kind of do it from here. And also they want you to find out -6, so it's gonna be like this. So you're gonna set equal to, remember, found the FTC part 1. So FTC P1 means FTC part 1. It just means this integral of f prime is going to give you f of -6 minus f of -2. Just by writing this down without anything, without any arithmetic, you would have points. Just by rewriting this down. And you finding f of -6, so that's just going to be. Now, also, I don't like the boundaries, so pay attention to this boundaries and this boundaries. I can switch the boundary from -6 to, I don't switch the other side, I just switch the boundary and put a negative sign in front of it. F prime of x, that's equal to f of -6, which is what we're looking for, and we'll move the f of -2 to the other side, so it's going to be f of 2. And f of 2 is equal to 7 minus, well, the area from -6 to -2 is going to be 4 times 2. So it'll be 4 times 2 over 2. So that's equal to 3. So f of -6. Frida, did you get this?
Yeah, but I forgot to flip it. So I got -3 because I forgot that you can have the more negative one on top.
Yeah, so those are the things you had to pay attention. So on the test, don't mess that up. Okay. And make sure like maybe tomorrow or the day after, go try this question again. Just say and make sure like you understand the logic of this. Because I think with the initial condition problem is much better than the other one. The other one just they just say -2 is or -6 is 0, which is much easier. Does anybody have a question over this part? Isabel, do you understand?
Oh yeah, I understand.
Okay. Shafa, do you understand? Lucia? I don't know how many people.
Yeah, I got it right.
Yeah. And Priya, you understand it now, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah. So this is the thing. Just this part is so valuable here, FTC part 1, and that's very standard. Just write it out and just finding area under the curve, and then just make sure the order is correct, and you're gonna be fine. And f of 5 is gonna be between 0 to 5, between -2 to 5, I think. Yeah, f -2 to 5, and this one's already in the thing, so it's gonna be f of 5 minus f of -2. And like I said, if you understand this, go work on other FRQ MCQ question. It's okay, don't waste time. So we want to optimize the time.
I got that first with the integral and stuff like that, but why is there like f of 2 minus the integral?
That's the initial condition.
Yeah, you move this to the other side because it was negative, so you move to the other side as f of 2. It was minus f of -2, so if you move to the other side, it becomes positive f of 2.
All right.
Thank you.
Mister, can you let Shafa in, please? She got kicked out again.
I keep on let her in. Shafa, are you in?
Yeah, I'm in now. Sorry.
I let her in like 6 times. I keep on saying.
Yeah, I know. I swear my phone just like hates me.
Your phone says you need
Zoom,
to take it.
Yeah, literally Zoom just kept kicking me out. I think I'm good now though.
Okay. So then I'm gonna move to the other side again against f2 still plus -2 to 5 of f prime of x, and this one just gonna go from -2. That's gonna give you 2 minus 2 pi, and then plus 3, I believe. So 7. So 10 minus 2 pi. 10 minus 2 pi. Okay. And on which interval f is increasing, it's going to be from parenthesis -6 to -2, and from 2 to 5. And absolute minimum, that's the part that you had to do justification. Look, x, f, -6. They want a minimum, right? So you don't need to do 1. You only need to do 2. And you need to do endpoint, which is 5. So -6 is 7. F of 2
-6 is 3, not 7.
Oh, -6. Sorry, you were right. -6 is. Where do I say -3? Oh, this is 3, right? I didn't write down. F of -2 is 7, right? Right? And f of 2. What happened at 2? Did we evaluate for 2? We did not. And the f of 5. f of phi, we evaluate, right? It's 10 minus 2 pi. And I think this is 7 minus 2 pi. So 7 minus 2 pi is end up to your minimum value. And this is justification.
Mr. A.
Mhm.
I know we did this already, but I was looking back at my work for f of 5, and I kind of got lost. So, could you like re-explain it? Because
Yeah.
I got up to like the fundamental theorem thing, and then like the solving out, it just got messy. So
Okay, so oh, this one's not -3. This one's 3. Sorry, this one's 3, not this. So this one you move to the other side, right? So it becomes this part move to the other side. Becomes f of 2 between -2 to 5 plus f prime of x, right? Does that make sense so far?
yeah.
Okay, so so f of 2 is 7. Right, f of 2 is f of 2 is not 7. So what was that? F2 hold on, let me redo it again. Did I do it wrong? I don't know. Let me do it again. Let's make sure. Let me do it on this side. So integration from -2 to 5 of f prime of x is equal to f of 5 minus f of -2. And this is f -2 plus -2 to 5 of f prime of x. So f of -2 is 7. And this one from -2 to 5. Oh, this one, I think I might have made a mistake. So this one's 2 pi minus 2 pi, and then 7 minus 2 pi, and then you're going from here is going to be plus 3 over 2. Plus 3 over 2. Wait, did I make a mistake here? Let me see. Minus 2 pi, 7 minus 2 pi plus minus 2 pi plus 3 times 2 over 2. So 3 times 2 over 2. So 3 times 2 over 2. So this will cancel out. So that's a 10 minus 2 pi. So yeah, it's 10 minus 2 pi. Because you got here is minus 2 pi, right? And here is 3 times 2 divided by 2. So it'd be 10 minus 2 pi.
Okay, that makes sense.
And f double prime of -5 is gonna get, this is equal to 1/2 negative, and f double prime 3 does not exist because it's short term. So I will say this FTCP1 is very, very important with the initial condition. This one's very similar like last one, so I think it's easier. But this one I think is a little bit slightly harder.
Can you repeat how you got 10 minus 2 pi?
10 minus 2 pi, yeah.
Why was that again?
Here I got 7, right?
Where?
So you want to take an integration from -2 to 5. So this one is a minus 2 pi because that's below x-axis. This is below x-axis. This is minus 2 pi. and then plus this part. This part is going to be blue because above. So plus 3 over 2 times 2. Okay, next questions. So we're going to talk about positions. Is that okay? And we don't have any positions here. So we're going to go find it. 2013, let's look at 2013 has any positions. So rate. Nope. This is not a fundamental theorem calculus, so you see every year there's always one. Differential equations. Okay, any questions so far? Is it confusing or no? If you write a table, you don't need any other statement for justification. Yes, you can just say justification and just draw out a table. Chris, you hear me? Okay. Other questions for position velocity. So we're gonna just pull a position velocity function and see if we can get one. Let me see if I can find one for maybe 2016 or 2014. Let me see, 2014. Nope, this one doesn't have. 2013. Let me see if we can find one here. Nope, we cannot find one. So let me see if I have 2016 FRQ. Nope, it has to be prior to 2015. So let me check out 2012 AP calculus for response. Fundamental theorem calculus. Okay, so we have this one here. So this question is a non-calculated one, so it's actually a little bit more difficult, and also has initial condition at this. So I want you guys to try this one. Oh, when's a particle moving left? What does that mean?
It's decreasing? Or like, yeah. It's decreasing in velocity.
That's actually, if it's decreasing in velocity, it's actually acceleration.
Is it negative velocity?
Negative velocity, that's right. So usually this question is on the non-calculated, it's on the calculated one. This one's on the non-calculated one. Yeah, this is a great question. This has everything that we need. I can add multiple parts on this too. I can find the average velocity between 1 to 3, finding when the particle is. The problem this one is a cycle, so there's no furthest to the left. You cannot ask that. Yeah, so this is position 1. Fida, do you understand the difference of what you say and what Daniel say? Like, do you see that it's decreasing is a acceleration?
Oh yeah, it's just a matter of like the wording, because decreasing is like slope. So I get it.
Yeah. So I think I know you meant negative, but I think when you say it decreasing. Is that what I think you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just be careful on the wording, because that wording is going to affect you, the way you describe things. And when you say that, I think you had the right idea, but just when you come out, you say decreasing, so that therefore the AP grader is going to be the one says, okay, so this person didn't know what you meant, but I know you know it. It didn't just when you translate it out, it was different. So you gotta be cautious of what you say over there, and just when you describe something.
Okay.
Wait, did somebody cannot open MCQ? Why is Josephine says require lockdown browser, but somebody say
it says it requires lockdown browser when you open it.
But somebody says Priya says they did see it.
Yeah, you can see it, but for me it requires lockdown browser. So, and I don't know how to open that in lockdown browser. How to open AP Classroom, I mean.
Priya, do you know how?
I didn't use my school computer because lockdown browser for school computer only allows you to enter Canvas, so I just did it on a different device and downloaded lockdown browser again. And then I entered through that.
But can you look at it and just do it on paper or no?
No,
it doesn't let you even go in.
Lockdown browser.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know that.
I think maybe there's an option to turn it on, because it said like something like secure test. So I think there's an option to turn on secure test. So maybe you could turn that off.
I can turn off the secure test because they don't release the MCQ because they don't want the student to have it. But this is a.
Oh, okay.
This is a weird. So, do you have a different computer to open up lockdown?
Yeah, I do. I just have to download it.
Okay.
Lockdown browser, I mean.
I don't know how. And it's so stupid. Lockdown browser, you still can take a picture, right? So, so it's like a defeated purpose. I don't think they think throughout, and I don't think it would be fair for. They should have a different curve between non-calculator people, non-online people, and the paper people, because that that would be slightly unfair unless they create all the questions completely different for the online people where it's more conceptual that they cannot look it up. Um, that's possible, but technically they cannot ask any mechanical question because you can just math with everything on a cell phone. Sorry, my screen just shut off. Okay, where's all my app go? I don't know where my app go. I hope you guys take a screenshot. I'm turn off and turn back on. Is it helping so far or no? Like, are you learning something from it or?
Yeah, it's a good refresher.
I mean, just give me feedback. It's okay. I mean, you just whatever it is, just we can always alter the format and make it more productive. Which is right now I don't know how yet. So let me share my screen again. Screen share. Where the hell am I doing? Where's that? Oh, that was a picture. This one. Okay, so it's okay if I start or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Daniel says, it's actually when particles moving left, it just means velocity is negative. Um, so, but if velocity is negative, that you really need to find particle at rest first. Does that make sense? Because at rest, then you can do a number line test. So that first part is kind of difficult. So okay, the first part is kind of difficult. Just cosine of pi over 6t is equal to 0. Why I set it equal to 0? Because if I find out 0, I can find out when the time they're changing from left to right, right to left. So when does cosine equal to 0?
Pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2.
Okay, let's do pi over 2 first. Pi over 2 is equal to pi over 6 times t, right? Then t equal to pi over 2 times 6 over pi, which is 3. And you can also say cosine of pi over 6 t is equal to 0. It's also equal to 3 pi over 2. And this is pi over 6 times t. And then t is equal to 3 pi over 2 times 6 over what? Pi. So this is 3. So it's 3 times 3 is 9. So add 3 and 9, right? But if you want to be double checked to be careful, which is 5 pi over 2, which is, I don't know if this one is going to make sense. So pi over 6t. So 5 pi over 2 is also equal to 0. So t is equal to pi cancel out. So 6 and 2 cancel out, 3 is 15. So it's already past the domain, which is always pay attention to domain. Then you're going to go between 3 to 9. And you're going to plug in the pi over 6t. So you're going to say, well, when is equal to 1, then you're going to get cosine, so that's going to be positive. Does that make sense? If I do 4, it's going to be 2 pi over 3 is negative. If I do 11, then it's positive. So it'll be increasing, decreasing, increasing. So that doesn't mean justification again. Sorry, this one is this, I just did it wrong. So this is a right, like left and right. Okay. And traveling left is going to be 3 to 6. Or 3 to 9, sorry.
So for justification, we just have a table.
Yeah, you can say since justification, this is justification. No, justification you're going to say is v of t is less than 0 between 3 to 9. That's it.
So we don't need a table.
You don't need a table. Only table needed is when it's the absolute maximum, absolute minimum. Or in this type of position function, it'll be like a furthest right or furthest left. And there's a lot of question with furthest left and furthest right. But usually happen between, they love the position function between 2010 to 2015. After 2015, they actually didn't have it for a little bit. I mean, they might come back, I don't know, but we had to prepare them all. Do not evaluate the integral. Okay, Josephine, you're going to do this one. You know I'm going to pick on you on this one. So what will be the total distance here?
From the formula that I remember, which might be wrong, integral from 0 to 6, and then absolute value of v of t. I can't remember if you told me that was wrong last time.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Absolute value.
Oh, it's fine? Okay.
absolute value making a negative become positive, so therefore you have a positive distance. You have they don't take away from each other. You go right or going left does not take away. So you take a 3 step forward and 2 step back, do not become 1. It would be 3 and 2 because even 2 step becomes positive. Does that make sense? I think I talked too fast. So if I take a 3 step forward, I take a 2 step back, right? If I didn't have absolute value, the answer is going to be 1. If I have absolute value, this changing to become like this. Does that make sense? So that's why you need absolute value. If I ask you total displacement is without absolute value. C. Find the acceleration and particle time, speed increasing, decreasing. Now for me, I'm going to do this one on the calculator one, and just because I want to show you how to do it in terms of calculator, it's not because of anything else. We're going to do it both. So what's the best way to do it in the calculator? So we're going to show you. So I am going to change the mode to radian. Can you see my calculator on Twitch or YouTube?
You can see it on Twitch, not on Zoom.
Yeah,
I can see it on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube or Twitch, doesn't matter. So you just have to turn on one of them. So, and I'm going to do cosine of pi over 6, so which is pi over 6. I want to do it on calculator because I want you to get familiar with the calculator too. And we're gonna add more question on here to make that it can be calculator. So this is the acceleration, right? This is velocity. So pi over 6, no, pi x, sorry. Ooh, pi x over 6. So pi, so you can do insert, guys. You can do insert here. So second, delete, that's gonna be insert, and you need the x, pi x over 6. Does that make sense? You can do insert, so you don't have to waste time deleting. Are we okay? And if I want to find acceleration means derivative, so I'm going to do math, 8th, and x, and bar, and y bar, function y1, and derivative x to the x. Does that make sense? Does that make sense for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to teach you how to do table set. So be second table set right here. And change it independent to ask. That's the best one to do. And I will do second table. And I can ask for. And they will give me two values. 0.5 and negative. Negative makes speed is increasing. Am I going too fast? So do you see how fast it is? It does not take a long time. You can do both at the same time if you do it right, and only take like 10 to 15 seconds. So at here, v of 4 is equal to, and how do you write it? Negative 0.5. A of 4 is equal to negative 0.453, 3 decimal places, so speed is decreasing. Now, if I would do this on without calculator, then I just plug in 4. So it'll be cosine of 4 pi over 6, which is a v of 4. So that's equal to 2 pi over 3, so it's negative half. And the a of t is going to be, negative sine of pi over 6t times pi over 6. And then you're going to plug in 4, so it'll be negative sine pi over 6 to the 4th minus pi over 6. So regardless, this what happened is going to be negative square root 2 over 3 times pi over 6. So that's equal to negative square root 2 pi over 18. So since they both negative, therefore it's speeding up or increasing. And that's how I do it with calculator or without calculator.
Mr. Gay. For part C, if we just said that velocity is negative and acceleration is negative, the same sign means increasing. Do we have to say like the number?
You do, because this is, if this is a calculated sections, right? You have to tell them, because technically you only have how many guesses, right? So they don't want to make this become a multiple choice question. Can I just say, it could be, it could be 4 possible chances. If it's negative, negative, or positive, positive, or negative, positive, positive, negative. So I could have just guessed and I could have got it right, right? So the whole idea is in the calculator section, they want you to take a calculator and get a value. If it's a non-calculator section, they want to see the chain rule of you taking derivative. And plug in the value, understand you're taking the value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we just want to tell you what is the teacher's perspective. I understand it's negative, negative, but we have to assume the worst for you. We cannot assume the best for you, because if we assume the best, then we have to take a consideration of every possible thinking that students are thinking. And we cannot do that. And there are, 200,000 paper to grade. So we have to go with what is more visual, and that's what the best way to do these questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Let's go part D. I will ask Josephine, but I'm gonna ask somebody else too. But this is the one that you gotta think about. Does anybody want to volunteer besides Josephine? Besides?
I'll go for it.
Okay. How would you set up this one?
So I would do the integral of v of t from 0 to 4, plus our initial conditions. So it'd be that minus 2. Then I go from there.
Okay, so you had to be cautious like this, and I'm gonna tell you what can be happening. If you write down -2 behind here, then that's wrong. Okay. Now, if you put like this dt, right, and then subtract 2, then that's fine. But my best suggestion is I put -2 in the front. Does that make sense? Because you don't want to integrate a -2. You want to make sure -2 is outside the integrations. So it'd be -2 plus integration of 0 to 4. Now you have to do u substitution. You have to show people that you know how to understand u substitution. Du equal to pi over 6 dt, and 6 over pi du equal to dt. And integration of that is going to be sine of u times 6 over pi between 4 to 0, -2 plus 6 over pi of, I had to plug in the boundary too. So let me change the u bound. Remember, you had to change the boundary. 4, so it'd be 2 pi over 3, and 0 is gonna be 0, so it's gonna be sine of u between 2 pi over 3 and 0, 92 plus 6 over pi. What is sine of 2 pi over 3? What is sine of 2 pi over 3? Like square root 3 over 2? So -2 plus 3 square root 3 over 2. 3 square root 3 over pi. That's my answer, but somebody double check my math. I got all the wonderful students here can check my math. Yeah, I got it right. Just double check my math. Now, can I ask you the extension of this question? I'm sorry, I'll answer your question. Give me a second. Can I ask you average velocity? Yeah. Integration of, that says between 2 to 5. Can I ask you find average velocity, right? Between 2 to 5. Then you're going to say 1 over 5 minus 2 between 2 to 5 v of t dt. You can do that as well. You can ask furthest to the left and furthest to the right, but unfortunately you cannot ask toward this question because this question is cycle. This is cosine graph. There's no furthest to the right, furthest to the left. They all come at the same points. So there was no point of asking that, but you can ask that. You can find average velocity, you can find average acceleration, and those are all the subparts that can be included. Yeah, somebody was gonna ask a question. I didn't know which voice is that.
I was gonna ask something. You put the square root of 3 over 2 for sine 2 pi over 3, but you put square root of 2 over 3 for like part C near the end. Like you flipped it, I think.
I I don't see that. I don't see that. I see here, right? I see here is 6 over pi is the u substitution. The
No,
constant.
for part C. Like for part C, like for part D, you put square root of 3 over 2, but for part C, you put square root of 2 over 3 near the end of part C.
You're right. My bad. I'm on crack. And that will be 18 negative square root 3 pi over 18. Thank you. Yeah. Question about this part? So you can ask a lot of extension on this. The idea is always going to be the same, and you're going to see the idea keep on repeating itself. And that's the part I don't like about AP exam, because it just, smart student can pick that apart and just like understand it, and other students gonna try to memorize a lot of things, and it was unnecessary. So I'm trying to teach you so you don't have to memorize a lot of things to see a lot of the same thing. This is just average velocity is like same thing as average value, like average value of velocity. That's another way to look at it. Okay, so any question about this one?
Mr. Ye, I have to go now, but it was a lot of help, so thank you.
No problem. Can you make it tomorrow?
What time tomorrow?
Is the same time okay with everybody or no?
Yeah.
I mean, if you cannot, I always record it. So, but I prefer you come here so you can ask questions, and because when you watch a recording, you tended to just skim through. But it's up to you.
Is tomorrow gonna be like today?
Yeah. Is this format okay with you guys? I mean, I don't know if it's okay or not. Honestly, you have to tell me. If you have to tell me that it's better thing, I'm just trying to tell you my perspective as me taking the test. How would I approach it? And hopefully it helped. But I think you guys are prepared, but I think you guys will rather over prepare than under prepare. So that's why you're here. Okay, other questions?
I think it's good. Okay, yeah, but I think I'll try to make it tomorrow too.
Okay, cool.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
See you. Differential equation, I feel like everybody's pretty good. Unless you want me to give you a differential equation for you to try it.
I'd like one.
Sure. And you can pick. See, that's the cool thing about this is I actually give you a whole worksheet out of this, right? I think this is worksheet 1. We got a lot here. This is more than more than the AP exam can offer you. So you're more welcome to take a screenshot of this. And just make a C. You do not change to the C. Okay, so differential equation is very, very important. So it's 6 points or 5 points on the AP exam. So you're more welcome to take a screenshot of this one and take a screenshot of the key. So you can practice any question and you can see anything. And if you don't have enough, I have the second worksheet. You want to take a screenshot of this one first? So this is our differential equation practice, right? And they have a lot better practice than AP exam, a lot harder, a lot more intensive. They even show us y prime. Oh, also the differential equation, sometimes they say slope is equal to that. Slope just means dy dx. So and make sure you understand slope is dy dx. So that's very important. So you can take a screenshot here. I'm gonna wait for another 10 seconds before I move to the answer page. You can pick. Yeah, go ahead.
So with the answer keys, I noticed that like when you do differentials, they have K, like when they're showing their math. Does it really matter if you say K or C?
Which one has K? This one doesn't have a K.
Oh no, I mean like when we've done differentials in the past, like with the other FRQs, and then you show us the answer, how they like work out their answer.
No,
they go from C to K.
It didn't matter. Remember that the AP Chem problem that you have, that you were so happy that you could have got it with AP Chem. dP dt equal to dP dt equal to KT. That was the questions. Remember? So dP, I think it's KP. I think it's KP. Yeah. Over P and then K dt. Integration of that's equal to natural log of P is equal to KT, I think, plus C. And here is e to the both sides, so it'll be P is equal to e to the KT plus C. So technically you can say it's K EKT, which sounds kind of funny. So you probably rather use C in this case, right? CEKT. If you have a K, then you got another K. So technically I think C is better than K, because at this case it's actually better to use C, because that K and C kind of got confused, right? Just for only in this case is kind of weird because you got K as a differential equation. So for me, I call it C, and they recognize either C or K, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Then my case saying C is because of this case. It's actually CEKT, not KEKT. KEKT, the KK becomes 2 Ks. Okay. So this will be the answer for this one. And make sure the C, if you multiply by -1, is still C. C multiplied by 2 is still C. So anything that here, it can be done. And if you don't have enough, and there is another one here, and this one has a different range of questions, and you can take a screenshot of this one. And I don't know why I don't have answers. I think this one has answers. I don't know why this one has no answers. I guess this has no answers, but it has questions. So I think I have answers. I don't know what happened to it. So those are actual practice questions here. There's more than enough. There's like what, 12 on the other one, 6 on this one, so it's 18 differential equation. And everything are pretty much the same, so that's worth 5 to 6 points. Should we just do one? Should we just pick one and do? You want to just pick one and do?
Sure.
Okay. Which one you want to pick? Since you're the leader.
Why not 3? Because it looks really gross.
Okay, just do 3. It's not as gross as look, but that's fine. It is gross though. Now the AP exam is not gonna be this gross, but again, this is gross for a good reason, because you have to know what's integration secant square, and you have to know how to do U substitution. So it's a perfect example to start with, because this can maybe target like multiple things. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Now, write down differential equation. They can be, so make sure you have to answer the right part for the right questions. So when they ask you differential equation, basically it will ask you, says find particular solution or find differential equations. So either of those keyword, that means you have the separation variable, you have to do initial condition, you have to find the C, you have to do all that. If I give it unlimited, if I give it pizzas, how much can you eat? 2 slices?
2 to 3 slices for me at least.
Wait, who are you?
Yeah. Ariana.
Ariana, dang. Okay. Okay.
My dad works at a pizza restaurant, so I've grown up eating a lot of pizza.
Oh.
Yeah.
I actually know what a pizza is too. I used to eat a pizza. It's right next to a bowling alley, right?
Not the one where my dad works at.
It's not the one in Hafner and Levista?
No, he works bar.
Oh, okay.
It's called Gino's Pizza.
Yeah, it's in the half. It's in the.
Is it? I don't know. I've never been.
You've never been there?
Mm-mm.
I think it's owned by an Arabic guy, right? Oh no?
Yeah. Or yes. Yeah. We don't know where he's from, but yeah.
Okay. Because I eat there before. It was pretty good. But I'm not sure whether it's the same place or not. I think it's right next to a bowling alley, an old rundown bowling alley.
It might be. I'm not so sure.
But it could have more than one Gino's Pizza, because that sounds very Italian.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
You don't get sick of pizza?
No, I don't.
Like if I grow up in a Chinese restaurant, I don't know. I probably won't want to eat Chinese food. For me, I like 4 and 6 because they are kind of different. But I will talk about the first two step of 4, which is also on my test. So I'll do it really quick. dy over y squared over 4 secant square of 2x. Integration of this one is integration of y to the negative 2. 4 gonna be outside secant square of 2x. This one's 1 over y negative. What's the integration of secant square?
Isn't it just tangent?
Yeah, but also you need a u substitution here. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Right, this one's gonna be du over 2. So this one's gonna be 2 tangent of 2x plus c negative 1 over y. Flip both at the same time, multiply that. It's gonna be, I'm gonna just do 1 over y first. It's equal to negative 2 10 of 2x plus c still. Oh no, sorry, that was just y. And I will plug in 1 is equal to 1 over negative 2 tangent of pi over 4, which is 1. Tangent of pi over 4 is 1. So it's equal to negative 2 plus c is equal to 1. So negative 2 plus c is equal to 1. C is equal to 3. So y is equal to 1 over negative 2 tangent of 2x plus 3. That's my answer. I don't know if it's right. Yeah, I got it right. So any of those questions, any of those answers, is all there. I do want to talk about this one though. This one's actually interesting. dy dx x times y equal to natural log of x. So this is y dy, and this is natural log of x dx. Over x. So the problem is this part. How do I take integration of natural log of x over x? Priya, do you know how to take an integration of natural log of x over x dx? Priya here?
Would you use u substitution?
Okay, what do u equal to?
ln of x.
Good job. U is equal to ln of x, and du is 1 over x dx, right? So this one is x du. So x and x cancel out, so it'll be integration of u. So it end up to be u squared plus c on this one. Y squared over 2. So yeah, so sometimes the integration technique need to be solid to do that. Another one that's 6 is kind of important is you have to factor out e to the y. So I'm just gonna do that first step, which is that first part is dy dx. I don't write it into y prime. I write down to e to y. Now this is not as hard. This is more like BC calc now. So you can take out e to the y of 2 plus x and dy over dx. So this one is going to be dy over e to the y over 2 plus x dx. And this one's going to be e to the negative y. Integration of e to the negative y is negative e to the negative y equal to 2x plus x squared over 2 plus c. So I mean those are the things that you had to get familiar with, different integration technique, and I really think this worksheet helps that. So I just worry about different technique. But anyway, so we kind of talked about 3 different topics. And you might get sick of the FRQ now. Now I like to talk about if you want to go more FRQ, we can. If you want to go to MCQ question, we can do that too. So it's up to you guys. Since we only have 40 minutes left. Or area volume, the FRQ, it doesn't matter. It's up to you guys. Whoever voice out, whoever win.
Could we do the area volume like all that?
Sure. Let's pick area volume one. Let's pick the one from Let's pick the one from 2019. See if we can find any area volume. Ooh, okay, this one's really gross. But this one's really different. You want to try this one?
Sure.
Yeah, this one's kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie. It's just the way they formalize something. It's like, it's super challenging. It's definitely one of those questions like stump people. Not the first part, but the second part and third part. This question is pretty hard for everybody in here. Even you are a good student, it still can be trippy. It's different wording, and I take account into international exam. I think college board really mess with international students, or really give advantage to American students, I think. But international students get the harder version of the test. It's sort of not fair, but again, I think they try to even the low. Mathematically, at least, I think. Again, you want to get maximize the points. You're not trying to do so this is the first part, this is the second part. First part is okay, it's doable. Second part is the one that's kind of pain in the butt. And just the way the word of question is kind of very, very disoriented. This is a calculator questions, so in case you didn't realize, this is number 2.
Mr. E,
Mm-hmm.
I have some questions about the multiple choice. Can we do that after?
Sure. I mean, you can ask me now if you in process of anything, because maybe you benefit other people too. We can do 2 things at once. Which
Yeah, my
question?
FRQs were fine. It was for, I think, 26 of the most recent one you sent me.
What year is that?
2013.
Okay, that's you guys want to take a screenshot of this? Oops. Maybe not. Yeah, even though this one, the second part is kind of hard, Daniel, just so you know. So you can take a screenshot of this and take a screenshot of this one and take a screenshot of this one. So I'll do it again. I will take a screenshot of here, or you already have that test. Wait, you guys can open on AP Classroom, right?
Yeah.
This one doesn't need a lockdown browser.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so you guys don't need to take a screenshot. It's right here. He said about question 20. So let's try to see if we can knock out 2 birds, 1 stone. 2013. 2013 is right here. Can't keep a track of anything anymore. It's everything everywhere. 13. You say question 26?
Yeah.
Let me see if it's worth it.
25 was also really weird.
Yeah, 25 is a good differential one. I'm so disappointed about this one. This one they should have placed on the, they should put it on the FRQ, because the FRQ of this test, the differential equation is so much easier compared to this one. This one's actually pretty hard. Yeah. There's no mathematic way to do this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you put it in math, alpha Wolfram, if you're trying to take integration of 1 plus xq into the alpha Wolfram, they give you some weird stuff that is really out there. Like, I can barely understand 5% of it because my student looked it up. Something about hyperbolic, some crazy shit, and it just not a very good situations.
E is just kind of like definition of integral, so that
yeah, E is the answer. E is the answer. The reason being is you know, you assume that is, let's say you assume that's f of x, right? And you want to find the integral. Well, integral is going to be big F of x. So pretty much that's just fundamental theorem calculus. You just like big F of x minus f of 0. F of 0 is just a constant, so it doesn't matter. It can be the c could be anything. So the only logical choice is it's E. It's not a or b because you cannot do u substitution. You don't have anything x squared. And it's not integration of t because we can actually do integration of t, right? Integration of t is t to the 1/2 and t to the 3/2 times 2/3, and then you're gonna plug in 1 plus x cubed. That's definitely wrong. And you can actually take integration of 1 plus t of square root, basically just u substitution version of that. And it's definitely not gonna get you the original function. The original function is just, yeah, that's the only way out. Yeah, you can look it up right now, Alpha Wolfram, and look up integration of 1 plus x cubed of square root of that. It's not pretty. It's something I don't understand, so that's what I would put it. So only way that makes sense is E.
Seems really strange. It's kind of just the same function.
No, it's not the same function. It's integration. It's the antiderivative.
But yeah, it's just like another way of writing big F of x. It's
yeah. And I was kind of disappointed about 26 because it should be a lot harder. But I think a student could be like guessing their way through is gonna be E. But again, it's like take a high risk to guess E because it looks so obvious. But at the same time, people don't want to pick too obvious answer. So it's kind of a reverse of a reverse psychology. So that's why people got wrong.
Yeah, the indifferent integral is something.
It's not pretty to look at. It is beyond any high school teacher can teach. That's beyond me. Even multivariable, even calculus 3 doesn't teach that. So I don't think it's there's a lot of things that you cannot take antiderivative of, and a lot of things require different skill, like Laplace transform and the different things. So how are you guys doing on the volume one? Is that disgusting problem? Especially part B. I heard nothing.
This is definitely a question. I got A, but like the number I got, I know it's not right because it's not reasonable. But I think A is the catalyst of me not getting anything else. So
A is already a catalyst. I think A is the easy part. Of B is disgusting.
Yeah.
B should be the catalyst of that's the time that I would tell you. I think it's good to look at those things, right? You have to know how to regroup after those questions. It's definitely not pretty. It's definitely not something that it's gonna be very obvious. But again, it's you had to be able to regroup after this. So let's go through it. I mean, it's not a big deal if you don't know how to do it now. And the more likely of this showing up on American exam, it's not very likely. If it is one of those 5 questions I told you about. It's gonna just like really destroy your mindset. But actually, if you look at it deeply, it's actually not as bad as people imagine. So finding area of region S. So basically f of x over g of x. Does that make sense? So integration. The first part is actually doable. You should get through the first one. And you should get stuck at the second one. So and you can use calculator too. So it's not like it's the end of the world. Let me import us to the notability. And after this one, we're just gonna do some MCQ because I think I think we do too many FRQs, actually bad. Done. Okay. It's not as bad as people thought would be, but it's definitely not pretty. This one just integration of the top minus bottom, so which is f of x. So be and some people can write down f of x, or they can write down other things between 0 to 3, right? Minus integration of 0 to 3 of g of x. But my integration between that, they already told you the r is 3.24. So it just between 0 to 3 of f of x dx, and it's gonna be minus 3.24125 plus, and that's it. And you're gonna plug in the calculator in there, and I don't know what that's gonna be. Did you plug in the calculator? Because they tell you that region R is, which is region R is between 0 to 3 g of x. So the first part should not be hard. Any question about the first part? And my second part is the one that's kind of gross. So second part is a disc washer. That's the first question you should ask yourself. Well, it could be cross section. I don't know. I think cross section is next part.
Would this one be a washer?
Yep, it is a washer. And this is alpha axis rotation, so you need to learn how to draw it. So we're gonna look at that in a second. So we're gonna look at this one. Which question is this? Okay, this is this question. So if you did it right, I think you're gonna get an answer. If I did it right, it's 4.920. And if you use, they even scoring guideline says if you use in degree mode, you're gonna get 10.756. Then that will lead to final answer to this. Do not earn the first point, which they are eligible. Those 40 correct solution in degree mode will earn 2 out of 3 points. Oh, they even give you 2 points. That's crazy. Even use degree. I didn't know that. Okay, I'm looking at what I did. So that's pretty interesting. So I'm looking at what happened here. So let's look at the next part. The next part is says, let's draw them. They say, find the value inside the general S revolving line y equal to, so S is right here. Okay, so we're gonna redraw it here. It's roughly something like this, well, it's probably like this actually. And then it's at 3, and I rotate around y equal to -3, so y equal to -3. So it's going to be like this. So it's 2 lines, 1, 2, and this is going to be dx. So dx. Okay, so then will be 3 plus 3 plus the big function. The big function is going to be f of x. So 3 plus f of x squared minus 3 plus the g of x squared. And if you have this set up, I think they give you a lot of points for that. And you need to have a pi in between 0 to 3. And if you have that, I think you get you get 2 points out of that. Are we okay here? Then rest of the part is, remember this is a function, right? You can use calculator to figure out this is a pi between 0 to 3 of 3 plus f of x, and then square. You can evaluate using calculator, and that's gonna do pi integration between 0 to 3 of 3 plus g of x, and then square. So the idea is using your algebra skill. So this part here, I think you're gonna get some type of value here. I don't know what is it, but you actually said this is a y1, right? You actually said this is a y1, and this is a y2. So you can do integrate this part multiplied by pi itself. Now integration of this part is going to be pi integration of 0 to 3. Now I will expand that. It's going to be 9 plus g of x plus 2g of x plus g of x square dx. And the reason why they do that is this is giving to you g of x squared is right here. G of x is 5.32.
Mr. A, wouldn't it be minus, so like the pi?
You're right. This is a minus. Yeah, this is a minus. So, and this one is gonna be whatever that is, and you have the integration from 0 to 9. So this will end up to be all minus because this is minus in the front. You're right. So then you will have to do minus pi and times integration of this. So this part is going to be, remember, integration of that is going to be that 3.24125 for g of x. G of x squared is going to be 5.32. So eventually you will get this integration of pi between 0 to 3 of f of x plus 3, and then dx, and then minus 5.32021 because that's a g of x squared, and minus 6 times 3.24125 minus 9 times 3. And this is all adding together, will eventually gonna give you 156.263709. So the hard part is to decoding that this is, well, first of all, I make mistake if this part is a negative sign. It was my fault. Thank you, Frida. Second of all is the integration of gx is given to you. It's given to you here for the r, and the third case is going to be g of x. So for me on AP exam, I will write down this part to earn my 2 points. And to using the area of R and T is going to work the third point. So this, to substitute this and this is the third point. And the answer, a final answer is going to be the last point. So I will earn those 2 points. And if the rest of them too difficult to work out, I will come back to do it. And that's how this approach. It's not a pretty questions. Then let's look at a part D. Part D is they say what? They say is they say it's a cross sections, and the length base is S. So it'll be f of x minus g of x is the length. So f of x minus g of x is the difference. It's a difference square. So, and they say height is 7 times, so 7, 0 to 3 in dx. And then I think that's enough. You don't have to evaluate it. So I will earn this. I think, let's see how many point. This was 3 point. This is plus 3. And I'll earn plus 2 here. And I will work out, if I have time, I will go back to figure out the last 2 points. And I will earn the C here. I will earn 2 points. So plus 2. So 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I will earn 7 out of 9 without spending too much time. And then I'll go back to earn the last 2 points if I have time. So learn to set up very beginning and come back to do evaluation. And most of the things here are set up anyway. So that's why I go over it here, because I know if you do this at home, it's pretty it's gonna be a struggle. So that's why I didn't want to do it at I didn't want you to do it by yourself, but you asked for it, so I'll send it to you. So, but I figured do it here would be much better. And just see like how do you overcome certain things. You're not trying to get 9 out of 9 points. You're not trying to get perfect score. On this type, if you did good on multiple choice already, you can get 7 out of 9. You're still fine. You're gonna get your 70 points to get a 5. It's okay we spend the last 12 minutes to multiple choice question because it's too short to do a free response.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, any multiple choice question? Any multiple choice question. We find the test, we do them.
Mr. Yi,
Mm-hmm.
I need to go, but for last week's mock exam, you know where I could find like the answers, or could like send them to me?
Last week, it's on the video. I have to send you on a link.
Okay, gotcha.
Because last week is we go over in class with Wendy and Helen.
Okay.
Okay, don't forget you are taking a test on Tuesday because I'm worried about you gonna forget.
Yeah, I got an email about it.
Okay, and you taking on Windermere, right?
Yep.
Okay, and you're gonna be the only person taking the test.
No, I think there's 2 other people.
Really?
Yeah, they're seniors.
Where do they take that class at?
Probably just like FLVS or something.
Oh, okay, all right, that's cool. All right, well, and if let me know how to do it when after the test, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, other questions? Fida, do you have any question on multiple choice? maybe not.
Mister, I have a question really quick. I don't know which one it is on the multiple choice, but can you go over really quickly how to do the Riemann sum thingies?
You mean FRQ or on the?
There's a question on the multiple choice section where we had to do that to like answer something.
You had to tell me which year because there's a lot of Riemann sum. Is
can
the
we do,
one that
like,
give you 9 to the x?
I think so, yeah.
Are you sure?
Hold on.
Because I thought that's the one that I will probably spend time on going over because I'm just gonna so there was a f of x equal to like 9 to the x. I think it's between 0 to 2. And they say 4 rectangles, 4 right endpoints. So
yeah, it was something like that.
So in this case, if you break it down, you got 0, 0 0.5, 1, 1.5, and 2. If you use right Riemann sum, then that's going to be 81. But 9 to the 3 over 2, that's equal to 27. 9 and 3 and 0. So it will be 81 times half plus 27 times half plus 9 times half plus 3 over 2. So it would be 2 over, this one's going to be 90.
Is it 9 to the
30.
0, 1?
Oh, 9 to the 0, 1, yeah. So, oh, that was stupid. But since I used right end, I didn't need it. And sometimes if you have initial condition, you have to add the initial condition. Don't forget there was initial condition. Sometimes you got things. And that's going to be trapezoid rule. So if it's trapezoid rule, it's going to be 81. Now, it doesn't matter if it's trapezoid rule. So this one's 81 plus 27 times 2 times 1/2 plus 27 plus 9 over 2 times 1/2 plus 9 over 2, 9 plus 3 over 2 times 1/2 and then plus 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 over 2 times 1/2 if it's a trapezoid. Now if it's a midpoint, now do 2 rectangle. So I will use that 3 times 1 actually, midpoint, because I only use 2 rectangles. So that's going to be 27 times 1. So that's equal to 30. If I use midpoint, 2 rectangles. So this is a mid with 2 rectangles. So mid is because I don't choose 0 and 1 and 2. If I use 2 rectangles, I don't use 2 or 1 or 0. I will use halfway would be 3 and 2, 27. But each rectangle is going to be 1, so that's how you get 1 and 1 here. So I kind of go over like 3 different kinds: midpoint, right end, and trapezoid.
Okay.
Did that help you? I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely did. I remember what to do now.
And I remember they're not always equal interval, so each interval might not be 1/2. Sometimes you have to read the interval. So for example, let's say you have 0, 3, 6, 10, right? And that's like 5, 10, 11, 12. And if I do 3 rectangle, so it'd be 3 right ends, so it'd be 3 times 10, right? Plus 3 times 11, right? Plus 4 times 12. Does that make sense? Because this here is 4, this here is 3, and this is 3. So it'd be 3, 3, before, and use the right end is 10,
Yeah.
11, 12.
Yes, I remember. That's okay, yeah, that's where I would get confused, but I got it now.
Okay, and also make sure sometimes like if they say this is a volume of water that's flowing in, and there is already 20 gallons of water in there, don't forget to add 20 if they want to ask you what happened, how many gallon of water at t equal to 10, then you have to make sure you added 20 to begin with. So if they give you initial condition on the multiple choice, you have to add them.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. So I guess it's 4 minutes. I don't think I can answer any more question. If you have any question, please ask. I'll answer the 4 minutes question. And I'm like
on the latest MCQ. Could you go over number 86 on the calculator section?
On yesterday's or what? Which day?
Yeah, yesterday's the latest one you posted on Edmodo.
Do you know which question? What which year is it? 2014
Sorry?
or 2013?
Oh, it was the 2014 one.
Which one? 80.
No, number 86.
Oh yeah, this one is definitely interesting, right? So equation tangent line. Did you have this right out?
I kind of just like looked at it and skipped it.
Oh no, don't skip it. Try it. At least when you come back, you should try it a second time. Equation tangent line, just y minus y1 equal to m times x minus x1. And they already told you k and e to the k, so you just substitute k and e to the k. Of k is equal to e to the k. So therefore e to the k, k and e to the k. Does that make sense? You got it?
I see how you like made the tangent line, but where did you get the intercepts?
Okay, so now let's go back and review algebra 2 skill. Y-intercept means when x equal to 0, solve for y. So I'm plugging x equal to 0. And then in order to find 0 on this weird funky equation is just graph it and look for x-intercept. And voila, you're done. It's a great question, by the way. It's one of the best calculated questions I've seen for a while. I asked you all the different idea what I want from a student. Like calculated question can be good. I think they changing from 17 to 15. I really don't think they should change to I really don't think they should stay with 17. I think 17 is fine. And the 2019 exam I sent you is 30-15. I think 17 is fine. They ask you a lot of conceptual question in the calculator anyway, so you know they should just give it 10, always 10 calculated question instead of asking 17 calculated question, but only 7 question require calculator, which is stupid. I don't know why they put it in the calculator section to confuse people. Ryan, that was a great question, though. That was a good question.
Can you go over number 6?
For this test?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's kind of simple, but like I got a different answer and I kind of forgot how.
Oh, this one is the bubble. That just means that's going to be 3 sine of x squared to the 2 times this is the first bubble. Remember we told you guys about bubbles? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Times cosine of x squared times 2x.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, the bubble question should be a straightforward question. Next time you don't mess up on that one because those are given. And number 7 is 0. That's L have to roll through 3 times. I think you guys are tired. I'm tired too. So let's call it a day, and then we'll regroup tomorrow, and then we take a day off Monday, relax, just review concepts, and you guys should be ready to rock and roll. I think we are more ready than at least 80 or 90% of the populations. So I think just part of us stay confident and just say, hey, I can do this. I think this is the question. What Ariana was asked earlier.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, so the answer I got is 60. It's right Riemann sum. Yeah. But yeah, you have to know 9 to the 3 over 2 power, right? And it's 4 intervals, so you had to break 0 to 2 with 0.5. And build a table and use the table to find out all the value. So this one is actually a real one. They don't give you the table, they give you the equations. And I remember I tested that as well. Exact same questions, actually. Because I like this one. I think this is a good one. But it's too bad it's not often asked.
Okay, bye, mister. Thank you for the help.
No problem.
Thank
Bye,
you so
mister.
much.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.